Oh, hey, Miami Heat fans. I gotta quote my good friend Michael Bublé real quick. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Down, 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 down. I'm feeling so good. All right, enough of that. But hey, thank you so much for joining me here. You are watching the Magic Happy Hour by Happy Hour Sports, and I am your host, as always, Shell Michael. And we have got a great episode for you tonight. At least I hope it'll be great. I'll let you be the judge of that. But as I record this, the Orlando Magic just beat Miami at home here in Orlando in the quarterfinal round of the NBA Cup tournament and punched our tickets to Vegas to play the New York Knicks, who just beat the Raptors tonight in Toronto on that god awful red court. But since we last spoke, the Orlando Magic had a Sunday afternoon game, which almost ruined my entire Christmas season here. We are going to discuss it a little bit, but if you've been living under a rock, I hate to break the news to you that the Orlando Magic have lost Franz Wagner to what looked like a horrific knee injury in this game in Madison Square Garden. I'm actually repping his jersey tonight as my small show of support. But yeah, it happened on a breakaway with Anthony Black in the first quarter. The defense kind of caught up to AB. He looked a little indecisive with what he wanted to do, and he tried to lob it up to Franz Wagner, who got blocked and knocked into from behind by Ariel Hukporti. And it wasn't a dirty play. No flagrant was called even after they reviewed it. But what happened, Franz fell down on his knee and like hyper flexed it because his toes also hit. And so it just really like his knee bent more than it should have. It looked. And I know every Orlando Magic fan's watching that and just thinking, man, he's out for the year. This is it. And look, I've said it in a past episode, but I went to UCF. I'm a huge UCF football fan. And this really just to me felt like when Mackenzie Milton tore his knee up. My heart, and I'm sure the hearts of any true Magic fan, just sunk to like the deepest, deepest depths of our being. And we all just kind of spent the next day, like next 24 hours or so, just in stunned silence, waiting for any kind of word from the team about the severity of the injury. And as stunned and down as we were as a fan base, that is how the Orlando Magic seemed to play for the remainder of that game in New York. They did rally well in the second quarter, but it just seemed like we absolutely mailed it in the third quarter. We got outscored by 10 in that frame. Then the fourth quarter, a little bit more competitive, but we ultimately lost the game by 6. And you know what? I didn't even care. Just like the game where UCF lost Mackenzie Milton versus USF in 2018 with that horrific knee injury that he had, I didn't even care about the remainder of the game, which we did end up winning because I was so like singularly focused on what probably amounted to like a grieving process at the time. And that's what this felt like Sunday. The outcome of one regular season game in December just doesn't carry the weight it otherwise would have if not for the injury to Franz. It would have felt so good to be 3-0 against the Knicks this year, but they are a great team and there will never be any shame in losing to them. So Orlando just had another brutal game from the free throw line and the 3-point line. Orlando missed 8 free throws, finished 66.7 from the free throw line, and then also finished 12 of 42 from three, which is a measly 28.6%. New York didn't shoot much better though, and I'm just trying to be honest here. They shot 43% from the field and 31% from deep. They did outpace Orlando in steals and in blocks, but they didn't really make us pay for them with only 11 points off turnovers. Truly, this was a pretty evenly matched game, which is even wild to say out loud, considering that we lost Franz in that first quarter, and that Paolo, still seems to be ramping up, coming back from his injury. Paolo's been moving lately like he's just like running through glue traps. I mean, everything just seems slower, maybe more deliberate, maybe a little bit like more careful. But he's definitely still ramping up to game speed. But the Knicks game ends on Sunday, and Magic fans find out the next day that Franz Wagner only sustained a high ankle sprain, which is about the best possible news that we could have gotten off of this whole thing. It's going to end up sidelining him, at least according to the team, for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm just still a little bummed out. Yeah, I mean, losing Franz, I'm always going to be a little bummed out. But man, we literally just got Paolo Banchero back, and now we lose Franz. And this is like almost a mirror image from what happened to us last year. Paolo gets hurt. Franz gets hurt. Franz comes back. Actually, no, Paolo came back first. Paolo comes back. Franz comes back, and you're finally like, yeah, we got our 3 guys back together. Paolo, Franz, and Jalen Suggs. And in that first game back with the 3 of them, Jalen Suggs gets hurt, and he's out for the remainder of the year. And I just want to see our guys together for some extended period of time with no injuries. And I don't think that that's too much to ask, but apparently it is. So I do want to say this is great news, though, because the story behind the story on Franz Wagner's injury is that the Orlando Magic have an upcoming game next month in Berlin, Germany, where both Franz and Mo Wagner were born, as well as Tristan da Silva for that matter. And so we've been looking forward to that game with major anticipation ever since it was announced over the summer. And now it's looking like the injury timeline should actually have Franz back on the court in time for that game. And honestly, Mo too. We might even get Mo Wagner back before Franz Wagner. There was an Instagram post recently where Mo Wagner was shown on the bench wearing a hoodie, and he posted the picture with a caption. It was written in German, but essentially it translated to "soon without sweater." Obviously, the first concern is to get Franz healed up. That is definitely the number one priority. But even to get him back in time for that Berlin game, even if you have to slightly accelerate the timeline, I think you risk it. And I would be willing to bet that if you asked Franz Wagner, he'd be willing to agree with me on that. So that's about as much oxygen as I want to give to his injury, because it's a little depressing to talk about, but it's about as much as I want to talk about the New York Knicks game as well, because we're going to be seeing them again in Vegas Saturday at 5 p.m. But tonight's game is the one I'm chomping at the bit to discuss. I promise you now, if we lose in the next round of this cup tournament, I'm going to downplay the heck out of it. I'm going to be the first one to remind everybody that it's all still just regular season games, and that a loss in the tournament is no different than a loss on any other night. But while we're winning and we're still in it, this thing is incredible, and it's a huge feather in the cap for Orlando. So before we get to the game itself, I had a couple pregame notes that I wanted to get to. First and foremost, interestingly enough, you turn on the game tonight, and Orlando Magic did not have our NBA Cup tournament court. The announcers for the TV broadcast said it was damaged somehow. I have no idea how that could have happened. I'm definitely curious to know. If anybody does know, please, shoot me a comment or something. But as regards those announcers, the ones that said that our court was damaged, it was Eric Collins and Del Curry. If you're not familiar with those names, those are the dudes that call the regular season games for the Charlotte Hornets. I thought that was weird. Like, first off, maybe why not give us some national broadcasters, some names that are just, well known in TV, or let Jeff Turner and David Steele do it, since Orlando was actually hosting the game. I just thought it was weird that not only did Prime TV give us a different team's broadcast team, but they also chose a tandem from the same division as Miami and Orlando, because Charlotte plays in the same Southeast division that Miami and Orlando do. So I just thought it was odd. Wanted to make note of that real quick. But my last note pregame, Orlando came into this night with a 4-2 record against teams that we were seeing for the second time, but an 0-2 record against teams that we were seeing for the third time. And this is an incredibly small sample size. I don't know how much to take from this, but those 2 losses were in Boston when we were missing Paolo, Suggs, Wendell, and Goga Bitadze. And then the game on Sunday that we just talked about, where we lost to the Knicks after Franz got hurt. So tonight against Miami broke that trend. Really excited to say that. Oh, actually, one more note. All throughout this game was driving me nuts with Eric Collins and Del Curry. They kept referring to Goga Bitadze as Go Bitadze, and that's not his name. Anyway, the game started ugly, though. And I'm not talking about like how Sam Raimi tried to convince us that Peter Parker's neighbor was ugly in Spider-Man. I'm talking like Steve Buscemi ugly. We spotted Miami 15 points before we even got on the board. And I want to run through some of this because Miami came out and they immediately lived up to their name, the Heat. They were scorching. They hit their first 7 shots, and Orlando missed their first 5. And so, like I said, I do want to run through this because this was just like the most mind-boggling start as a Magic fan. Because usually I don't say usually, but over the last few, we've gotten up for these big games. But Orlando Magic wins the tip-off. Jalen Suggs misses a pull-up jumper near the rim. Andrew Wiggins from the Heat gets the rebound, advances the ball, and he ends up hitting an 18-footer, 2-0 Miami. Suggs turns it over, and then Andrew Wiggins ends up hitting a 3, 5-0 Miami. Desmond Bane misses a turnaround J. Bam Adebayo rebounds it, and eventually Norman Powell hits a 3, 8-0 Miami. Then Paolo gets a layup block, and that goes the other way for a Tyler Hero 2, and he gets fouled on the play, and he hits his free throw, so now it's 11-0 Miami. On the other end, Anthony Black misses a long step-back jumper. Tyler Hero gets the rebound, races down, hits a pull-up jumper, caps off their 13-0 start. Mosley finally calls a timeout, and I'm wondering what took you so long to call that timeout. That should have probably been called after the 10-0 start, or whatever. The Tyler Hero was 10, but then he hit his free throw, so 11. So again, all of this, like, I just felt like Mosley was a little late to call the timeout and stop that momentum. Maybe he just wanted to give his guys a chance to sort it out. But he calls the timeout. And when you call a timeout to stop your opponent's momentum, you have got to capitalize on that when you come out of the timeout. But we didn't. Paolo Banchero misses a floater, Tyler Hero rebounds, and he races down and scores again. So Miami's out to a 15-0 lead. Orlando Magic finally stopped the bleeding when Anthony Black hit a layup at the 9:05 mark in the quarter. So that's just an awful lot of damage that was done in almost 3 minutes of gameplay. From that Anthony Black bucket, though, which again pulled us back to within 13, we matched point for point for the rest of the quarter. We finished the first with that very same 13-point deficit, so we were down 30-17. That was the score. Really just a paltry number from us, right? 17 points in the quarter. You're not going to win very many NBA games when you are scoring 17 points in a quarter, but we got our feet beneath us. And then we outscored Miami in every single quarter for the remainder of the game. Orlando had a great second quarter, and they finally captured the lead on a 14-foot elbow jumper by Wendell Carter Jr. at the 3:55 mark in the second quarter. And that moment, like I said, 3:55 left in the first half, that shot capped off what I just thought was just a beautiful quarter of play from the Orlando Magic to that point. We had 2 threes from Suggs, 2 from Bane, 8 separate 2-point buckets made from Tristan, Paolo, Dell, Suggs, Bane again, and then 2 additional jumps from Dell. And so in that stretch, we also got a steal from Desmond Bane. We also got a block from Anthony Black. And our guys just absolutely grinded out that comeback. They earned every single point and every single stop. Miami did regain their composure, though. They finished the half up by 1 point over Orlando. Now, the reason I mention all this is because my favorite portion of the game was right here in the middle. From that 3:55 mark in the second quarter, when the Magic first took the lead on that Wendell Carter Jr. Elbow jumper, from that 3:55 left in the second, all the way through the 8:03 mark in the third, there was 15 lead changes in this game, in that section alone. And from that 8:03 mark in the third to the end of the game, the Magic did not give the lead back to the Miami Heat. So to recap, the game was all Heat until late in the second. Then there was 15 lead changes from late in the second until the 8:03 mark in the third, and then the Magic never trailed again in the game. So that's the whole story of the game. I will say the end of the game did get a little interesting. Orlando was up 115-104, so we've got an 11-point lead. Orlando gives up a Bam Adebayo score. Now it's 115-106. We missed some shots. We turned the ball over a couple times. Miami scores again. It's 115-108 now, so they're within 7. Less than a minute to go, and Norman Powell steals, and Tyler Hero gets a 3-ball up, and we're all holding our breath because it really just looked like that classic late game Miami Heat heroics, but the shot misses. The game ends pretty much right after that. It was 117-108 is the final score. Magic win, and I want to talk about that missed Tyler Hero 3-pointer there at the end. Tyler Hero entered the night with 999 career threes. They wouldn't shut up about it on the broadcast, so I do feel the need to talk about it here. But at one point in the game, they mentioned it, and I was taking notes just to be able to talk about it here. And I wrote, oh man, he's missed all his 3-point attempts so far. And then he completely airballed another three as I typed that out. So he finished the night 0 of 6 from deep, and we did not let him get that 1,000th deep ball. So go Orlando Magic. But the table is set for the NBA Cup semifinals, as I mentioned earlier in this video. And just as I mentioned was a real possibility, from Friday this past week until Saturday this week, Orlando's 4-game schedule ends up going Miami, New York, Miami, New York. And I don't want to look too far ahead, but it's really looking like whoever wins Saturday between the Magic and the Knicks gets to go get their butts handed to them by OKC in the finals in Vegas. With that said, there is still big money to be made, so it's not like it's for nothing. Everyone on our team right now, by virtue of beating the Heat tonight, will be receiving $106,187 each. Now, if we beat the Knicks to advance into the finals, every single person on our team is guaranteed $212,373 each. And the winner of that game, if you make it to the finals versus probably OKC, but whoever the eventual winner is from the semis in the West, if you make it to the finals and if you win the finals, you are guaranteed $530,933 per player. Again, that's probably going to the Thunder. I just don't see anybody beating them. They have one loss in the whole year right now. But even if we don't win Saturday against the Knicks, each of our dudes bringing home over $106,000, which is the guarantee right now. Imagine what that means to a guy like, think about our two-way player, Jamal Cain. I looked up his salary earlier today. His salary only guarantees him just over $85,000. And as of tonight, he's guaranteed to have over $106,000. That's why this is so special. And so the Orlando Magic, they have their work cut out for them. Facing the Knicks yet again feels like a bit of a bummer. I was kind of happy that we were done with them after Saturday. The NBA only scheduled us 3 games against the Knicks this year, and we felt great going 2-1 against them. But now we have to play them a 4th time, and I try to remind myself this is how tournaments work, right? As you advance further, you're going to expect that your opponents are going to get tougher because they also advanced, and that means that they're good. The one thing I will take some small comfort in is knowing that the New York Knicks are probably feeling the exact same way right now, knowing that they've got to face the Magic again. We do not like each other. I don't think the players like each other. The fan bases certainly don't like each other. I will shout out the fans that were in attendance on Sunday in Madison Square Garden when Franz went down. They were all super classy. But again, I'm on Twitter that night, and Twitter's just a cesspool where you see and hear the worst of the worst. And there was people like cheering it on, hoping it was an ACL, hoping he's done for the year. So I truly think if Orlando and New York end up facing each other in the playoffs, both fan bases are just going to be in absolute shambles. Nobody wants to play each other. I truly believe that is, I'll say this, I refuse to believe that anybody truly wants to face the New York Knicks. No Magic fan wants that. No Knicks fan wants that. We want nothing to do with each other. And so I will say this is going to be somewhat of a shorter episode. That's going to be it for me tonight. I'm off to go troll some Heat fans on Twitter. I thank you, as always, for tuning in. And again, I will selfishly but unashamedly ask for you to hook me up with a thumbs up down below. And I'm going to invite you to join me again for the next Magic Happy Hour, where I will likely record probably Saturday evening, actually, right after the Cup semifinal in Vegas. Well, I won't be in Vegas. The game will be, but you get it. But hey, have a great night, though, and go Magic. Hey, DJ, play my song.